The history behind John C. Fremont High School on San Pedro Street. This should be interesting. Special thanks to two viewers who inspired this video, Juan Sanchez, who started this conversation, and Gerson Argueta, who inspired this video. So let's jump into this recap. Hey guys, welcome back to the South LA recap. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any new updates or videos on South LA and LA on the regular. This week, we're going to dig into a little history of a local high school in South LA, John C. Fremont High School on San Pedro and 76th Street. Many people might know this school as a present-day minority-serving institution, but there's a lot more to the story than this. So who is John C. Fremont anyway? Born on January 21st, 1813, Fremont was an American explorer, military officer, and politician. He has a long and conflicting history, but he's remembered for his staunch stance against slavery and running as the first ever Republican presidential nominee. His work paved the way for Abraham Lincoln, the first Republican president of the United States. Out of respect for time, I've left a link to learn more about Fremont in the description box below. But what did this United States icon have to do with the black and brown students who attend Fremont High School now? Well, nothing, actually. With a quick look at Fremont High School's history, you'll find that this public school was actually never meant for black and brown students. It was designed as a whites-only school. On December 4th, 1922, the Los Angeles Times reported 3 new school buildings planned for the expanding Los Angeles area: Belmont High School, Beverly Hills High School, and John C. Fremont High School. The city specifically built John C. Fremont to reduce enrollment sizes at the nearby Emmanuel Arts High School, which is a few miles north of this site. The school was the final ingredient to catalyze growth in a new real estate development. The bank sold tracts in this brand new neighborhood called Goodyear Park. Investors gave life to new single-family homes around the neighborhood, which would then be sold to working-class families. And families who had at least one member employed at the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company were attracted to the short commute, new homes, and proximity to a new school for their child. This cycle is easily depicted by the ballooning local ads to both investors and working-class families in the local paper. This, of course, served as a bright opportunity for white working-class families. Not so much for people of color. For 2 reasons, really. First, the neighborhoods had race restrictions. In this case, non-white people were not allowed to buy homes here. The second is people of color had fewer opportunities to secure loans from banks. So segregation aside, this school began construction around May of 1923 and fully opened in the fall of 1924. Designed as a large school from the start, the Los Angeles School District anticipated 1,500 enrolled students, which was the most any new school had seen in Los Angeles to that date. The school offered much different curriculum than modern standards. Young men had the opportunity to learn carpentry, mechanics, printing, auto electric, and the young women, well, they learned dressmaking and home economics. Yeah, that's 1924 for you. If you stuck around this long, I'm sure you're curious about when John C. Fremont High School became, well, less white. Back in 1926, I found an op-ed published in the California Eagle, a former black newspaper in Los Angeles, that rebutted against comments from the Fremont Improvement Association. Essentially, the association wanted to keep their neighborhood free of black residents to preserve the schools and districts of our own race. Anyway, through some odd chance in history, black people managed to find their way into John C. Fremont High School. In 1941, 6 black people attended John C. Fremont High School, and some students didn't like that. On the backside of the high school on Avalon Boulevard, a gang of white students performed an effigy lynching, or lynching using a makeshift fake body, that depicted the 6 African American students in attendance. There were also a few recorded incidents of students distributing racist handbills and even attacking a group of young black women who also attended the school. By 1948, the United States Supreme Court ruled racial housing covenants illegal in the United States, making it slightly easier for black people to move into neighborhoods like Goodyear Park. In 1953, Fremont High School named its first black senior class president, Frederick Walls, nearly 20 years after the school was built. In 1954, Walls became the first black valedictorian at Fremont. In 1955, the students selected their first female senior class president, who was also black, May Aubrey, a New Orleans native. Photos of white students in the 50s became more scarce in the newspapers I researched, and by 1969, the Los Angeles Times reported on Fremont High School as a predominantly Negro school. And of course, demographics in South Los Angeles shifted in the 80s and 90s, and the school now serves students of Latinx descent. Today, John C. Fremont High School stands as an iconic landmark in the Florence neighborhood as a minority-serving institution. Today, it's surrounded by rows of single-family houses that were once new homes for working-class white Americans. Fremont has an enrollment now of 1,980 students pre-COVID, with Latinx students making up roughly 82% of the student population. According to Great Schools, the four-year high school graduation rate is 74%, and less than 50% of the students leave with the coursework necessary to attend a Cal State or UC school. The school is effectively split into 4 sub-schools, including School of Global Media Arts, Medical Science Academy, the Law and Social Justice School, and STEAM Magnet. Before COVID, it also had a healthy selection of sports, including basketball, football, and track and field. The alumni list is long, and it includes several Major League Baseball players, American rapper Dr. Dre, Raymond Washington, who was the co-founder of the Crips Gang, and legendary city supervisor Kenneth Hahn. That's it for this episode, and I hope you enjoyed this flash from the past and learned something new. Let me know what you all would like to see next time in this history dig, and I'll see you around on the recap.